Through veils that shroud forgotten ages, where the chronicles of humanity blur into the memory of the gods, the echo of an indestructible secret resounds, embedded in the very foundations of the cosmos. In the churning twilight of lost Atlantis and the nascent radiance of ancient Egypt, in that epoch before memory, the fabric of existence glimmered with starlit enchantment. Amidst these primeval forces, a being walked, a scribe of divinity, weaving the codes of creation into veins of living emerald. These were the emerald tablets, precious beyond reckoning, etched with secrets that would outlast empires, flames, and the relentless erosion of both time and memory. Their message is not a relic, but a living pulse, a call that awakens those sensing the presence of something greater, whispering beneath the surface of all things. Legends bear witness to Thoth, known to the mystics as Hermes Trismegistus, master among sages, who became both architect and guardian of the tablets. Thoth, the cosmic scribe, did not merely record the fate of a world. He gathered the shining quintessence of Atlantean wisdom and pressed it into indestructible emerald just before the deluge of oblivion. In that moment, as Atlantis surrendered to the hungry sea, the destiny of mankind became forever intertwined with a set of tablets, gateways veiled in myth, awaiting rebirth in the hands of seekers and initiates. Each tablet reverberates with the resonance of universes both visible and concealed, a symphony inscribed into myth, scripture, and the mind of every human who dares to listen. The tablets announce themselves as neither passive record nor idle artifact. Their surface shines with the radiance of a higher order, a message so potent that even after the fall of Atlantis, destruction could not erase their wisdom. This power is echoed in the sacred Egyptian traditions, where Thoth is revered as the cosmic scribe who measures, decrees, and presides over the scale on which hearts are weighed. Through his hands, the tablets became more than text. They became portals, vessels for the direct transmission of something ageless and electrifying, divine intelligence awakening within the soul. The mythic birth of these teachings is inseparable from the most profound longing at the core of human spirit, to participate in the very architecture of the cosmos, to become a conscious partner in the endless dance between matter and spirit, between the finite and the infinite. The first tablet unleashes a declaration that stuns the mind awake. These are not mere chronicles of a vanished world, but maps of existence, technologies of consciousness, encoded in symbols that shimmer with living authority. The Egyptian Book of the Dead immortalizes Thoth as the bridge from the mortal to the immortal. And so the tablets themselves emerge as icons of passage, keys not only to ancient epochs, but to inner worlds waiting to be rediscovered. Their legacy transcends the boundaries of history. The secrets pressed into green crystal echo in every era, in every soul seeking purpose, in every yearning to understand destiny. In every moment, the human heart aches in exile from the One. The tablet's origin, the act of Thoth inscribing the divine decree, remains a mirror for all who awaken to their own creative capacity, their divine birthright. The myth calls out, every being bears the latent touch of the cosmic scribe, every thought and aspiration woven into the tapestry of all that is. What truly animates these tablets, however, is the sweeping revelation of unity, that there is only one light, one dazzling source from which all worlds, seen and unseen, eternally flow. The second tablet reveals the mystery at the heart of all things. Unity is reality. Separation is the illusion. Across millennia, these lines have lifted the veil, allowing those who truly see to recognize that all barriers between body and soul, self and universe, celestial and elemental, are but mirages dissolving in the radiant presence of the One. The light does not merely illuminate, it beckons each soul to remembrance. Within the green fire of the tablets, matter and spirit distinct no longer. The spiral of galaxies and the spark of consciousness are but reflections of the same infinite radiance. Fragmentation falls away. The tablets reveal the living unity at the root of all phenomena, twisting like a silver filament through Hermetic wisdom and Egyptian myth alike. All is mind, the Hermetic texts declare, and in these emerald glyphs, that truth emerges as more than doctrine. It is the music underlying creation. All boundaries break. Consciousness is revealed as a boundless mirror, folding and unfolding, always returning to its source. Observer and observed, the melody and the silence, now revealed as one. A summons issues from these tablets, an invitation to cross the threshold of perception, to remember oneself as a living expression of the undivided source. This is not the privilege of priests or the hidden treasure of an elect few. The message is for those who will listen, who dare to quiet the mind and return to the heart. The tablets do not merely promise unity, they awaken the direct experience of it. Separation, source of all human sorrow and fear, is overthrown as a shadow fleeing before the sun. Rippling through centuries, the revelations of the Emerald Tablets grant more than lore. They restore to you the memory of unity, the deepest inheritance of your own being. When silence reigns and attention turns inward, the gate opens. You are not a splinter cast adrift, but a unique articulation of a boundless, luminous tapestry. Longing itself is revealed as the whisper of the indivisible light, calling you home, inviting you to reclaim the eternal wholeness etched into the primordial heart of emerald and soul alike. Through each line, Thoth beckons the earnest seeker even closer, not only to gaze upon unity as a doctrine, but to realize it as a living power within. In the emerald depths, another secret stirs, the astonishing potency of the awakened mind. Tablet 4, like the tongue of a secret fire, reveals what ancients knew and science now timidly approaches. Consciousness is not prisoner to circumstance, nor is the world a rigid prison house of immutable fate. Here, mind is sovereign shaper, the axis by which the outer reality bends. This is no empty idealism. It is a living technology, a force that priests and magicians of Atlantis once mastered, directing thoughts as precise beams to pierce the veil and mold outcomes both subtle and spectacular. There is evidence, not only in texts, but in the battered stones of ancient temples, where, through focused intention, reality was sculpted like clay by rays of the inner sun. The tablets unveil this lost inheritance with breathtaking clarity. Consciousness, refined and trained, can reshape destiny. Thoth describes the ascent of mind across vibrational planes, with thought acting as the engine of transcendence. Reality, in his words, yields to directed will. The possible becomes malleable. The mythic narrative becomes instruction. Align your thoughts with the divine harmonic, and congestion, limitation, suffering begin to unwind. This is not escapism, but a discipline. The Atlanteans gathered in crystalline halls, harmonizing thought as choirs, bending the ether in service of healing, creation, revelation. With each act of focused intent, the boundaries separating soul from cosmos grew more diaphanous, until wonder became the natural state. Miracle, a matter of skill and aspiration. The core insight pulses. The world you encounter springs from seeds planted within your own mind. Habitual thought, unchecked by conscious scrutiny, forges chains tighter than iron. Yet, in the instant you reclaim your authorship, refining thought, sanctifying intention, a portal swings wide. Each tablet, therefore, is both map and method, calling you to the lifelong art of becoming architect of your own experience. But how is this practiced? The answer is hidden not merely in rituals, but in everyday choices, where thought meets challenge, where intention is tested by trial. The mastery Thoth describes is painstaking. It does not arise from fleeting inspiration or shallow mimicry, but from the persistent return to the presence, the continued act of remembrance. By aligning with the order inscribed in the tablets, the seeker learns to ascend not by escape, but by illumination, transforming inner states, thereby transmuting outer circumstances. This journey is crowned by yet a deeper mystery, the immortality of the soul. With Tablet 3, Thoth discloses hard-won truths of passage, how the soul, infinite and ageless, weaves itself through cycles of birth and shedding of form, ever seeking to remember its own divinity. Death, he teaches, is but a portal, not a wall. Consciousness persists, carrying the luminous record of all that was learned, loved, suffered, and transcended. Thoth recounts his own odyssey, emerging intact through countless lifetimes, bearing memory across the dissolution of worlds, meeting the end of Atlantis only to rise again as the keeper of records in Egypt. His journey becomes archetype. Each soul is called to a voyage of becoming. Each challenge endured becomes a catalyst for greater wisdom. This teaching is echoed in Egyptian funerary rites, where the deceased is guided not merely to a destination, but to transformation and elevation. The tablets make plain. Incarnation is a classroom. Every return a chance to embody more of the divine pattern. All is curriculum for the soul's expansion. Suffering becomes teacher. Joy becomes test. Failure becomes the forge. As you begin to see existence through this lens, dread of mortality recedes. The anxiety of once and for all is transmuted into the humility of endless opportunity. The soul is immortal, not by decree, but by experience, remembered in the crystalline depth of the tablets and reflected in the undying flame that burns in your own chest. This is the inheritance offered to all who would awaken, the raw, unmediated promise that your life is not defined by what ends, but by the rhythm of cycles that forever unfold. To pierce this mystery, to remember your own immortality, is to step into the lineage of Thoth himself, a participant in the cosmic work, a co-creator of unfolding worlds. Beyond the immortality of the soul, the tablets disclose yet another dimension of the universal order, a revelation that has resounded through esoteric traditions in whispers and coded metaphors. The universe, declares Thoth, is structured in 7 planes or vibrational realms, each more refined than the last, each representing a ladder upon which consciousness may ascend. This concept, boldly presented in Tablet 5, reveals reality as both layered and accessible, a spectrum of experience ranging from the densest material to the most transcendent spiritual. These 7 planes are not imaginary or abstract. They pulse through matter, energy, psyche, and spirit, manifestations within you, as much as in the wider cosmos. The lowest rung begins in the tangible earth, where form and separation dominate, rising through etheric and astral zones, reaching ever upward toward celestial unity. Each elevation is both a destination and a transformation. As you refine your inner instrument, attuning to higher frequencies through discipline, meditation, or inspired service, gateways open into realms of awe. This model is not mere speculation. It is echoed in the layering of Egyptian cosmology, in the Kabbalistic tree of life, in the steps climbing the temples at Luxor, every tradition mapping ascent through severity toward mercy, from exile to homecoming. For Thoth, the 7 planes are living thresholds, not static boundaries. Each soul must meet the lords of each cycle, guardians of wisdom, testing the purity of those who would proceed. Only by the earnest transmutation of self does one ascend, earning passage through the seals of each world. Transmutation is the heart of all true esoteric science. Here, in Tablet 6, Thoth lays bare the key that underpins all alchemy, not only as the transmuting of lead into gold, but as the sublime elevation from ignorance to wisdom, from division to unity. You are instructed: purify the heart, adjust the will, become light, lay aside the dross of coarser emotion and shadow, and witness the opening of portals of fire within your own being. This spiritual alchemy is not the province of idle speculation or hollow tradition. It is practical transformation, as real as the changing of seasons or the rising of the tide. The initiate turns suffering into insight, wounds into compassion, ignorance into radiant knowing. Each trial met with courage is a refining fire. Each surrender to the higher will is a step closer to becoming pure light, as Thoth describes. In this alchemical journey, the soul is both substance and smith, both stone and sculptor. Yet every ascent is balanced by descent. Every movement toward light contains a shadow. In Tablet 7, Thoth warns of the cosmic law that holds all things in equilibrium. Nothing in the universe escapes the algorithm of balance. Light and darkness, order and chaos, good and evil. These forces are not enemies, but poles whose tension sustains creation. To understand this law is to be empowered. To fight against it is to suffer endless whiplash. In Egyptian myth, Ma'at is the feather against which all deeds are measured, the standard of cosmic order. Thoth's own struggles with the children of the shadows illustrate the perpetual drama of darkness seeking to usurp light, only to be restored through vigilance, wisdom, and devotion. No soul progresses without meeting the inner shadow. No initiation is complete without walking the line between pride and humility, arrogance and awe. Thus, the tablets reveal yet another secret. Only when you become the balance, rooted in the center, unshaken by duality, do you wield the full power inscribed in emerald. The seeker learns to create harmony within as the precondition for influencing the world without. The scales are always in motion. Your life, like the cosmos, is a continual act of balancing the opposites, sculpting your destiny through every conscious choice. There comes a moment along the journey revealed by the tablets, when the path narrows. A threshold appears, guarded not by stone and steel, but by a presence both awe-inspiring and enigmatic. This presence is the keepers of wisdom, the guardians of the hidden, dwellers upon the boundary between profane and sacred. Tablet 8 brings their reality into sharp relief. Beings of light, the lords of Arcturus, whose vigilance ensures that higher mysteries are not scattered before those unprepared for their weight. These guardians, encountered by Thoth as he advances through the labyrinth of the higher worlds, are neither capricious nor cruel. Their purpose is simple. Knowledge that can transform must be shielded from those who would wield it for domination or personal gain. They administer the gates not as jailers, but as stewards. Not all who seek shall find, but only those who embody the virtues that ritually open the inner portals: humility, courage, and unwavering service. Each mystery school has encoded this principle. The journey is open, and yet every traveler must pass trials, not by recitation or show of power, but by the living proof of character. The emerald tablets are no exception. The deeper glyphs shimmer only for eyes trained by devotion, purified by intention. The The Señores de Arcturus stand as figurative and literal gatekeepers, ensuring that the portals to higher realms and the powers they contain respond only to those whose heart song matches the frequency of truth. Yet the tablets reveal this is not exclusionary elitism. It is necessity. The inner fire, the secrets of transformation, do not thrive in hearts that burn only for self. Thoth's own example is instructive. He is scribe, magician, and healer, but above all, servant of the greater order. His passage through the realms is permitted because he gives back, teaching, healing, recording with fidelity and reverence. The path is open for all who choose a similar alignment, which is both the challenge and gift of the Emerald Tablets. There are no shortcuts, only the patient art of inner refinement. It is within these higher reaches that Thoth attests to the possibility of astral journey, the liberation of the soul from the confines of flesh, the conscious movement through worlds usually glimpsed only in dream or at death. Tablet 4, once more, becomes a guidebook for the practice of astral projection. The Salois de Amenti, those luminous chambers beneath the heart of the earth, are described not as a final resting place, but as living temples, sanctuaries of wisdom and living memory. These chambers are more than myth. In the Egyptian tradition, Amenti is a place where souls are prepared, measured, and renewed. Thoth's travels are not unique. They indicate an ancient practice known to initiates throughout history: the shaman's flight, the mystic's ascent, the visionary's visitation beyond the veils of time and form. Such travels are not escapist flights of fancy, but purposeful sojourns where the soul brings back knowledge, healing, and insight for the world. The means by which these realms are accessed is discipline, self-mastery over desire, fear, and distraction, stillness of mind, focus of intent, the ability to maintain lucidity amidst unfamiliar energies. These are the techniques hidden beneath the surface narrative. Through training, the soul learns to navigate, communicate, and return, forever changed but grounded in the here and now. The tablets teach that your deepest inheritance is not material, but experiential. The living memory of journeys across worlds, the map of the soul's own odyssey, the truths retrieved from the other side. Along this path, the fire within arises. Tablet 9 describes it as the primal force, spiritual energy that lies dormant in every human being. Known as Sekhem to ancient priestesses or Kundalini in later metaphysics, this inner fire awakens through devotion, aspiration, and right use of will. Thoth teaches that it is no mere metaphor, but a tangible, transforming energy, the very catalyst that turns the dross of personality into the gold of pure consciousness. This fire is both gift and trial. It has the power to consume fear, to burn away old scripts of contraction and limitation, to melt the boundaries that keep you separate from Source. But it also brings risk. When awakened prematurely or for egoic ends, it can destabilize or destroy. True transformation requires guidance, humility, the willingness to walk slowly and steadily through the stages of purification. The initiate learns to fan the inner flame gently, cultivating clarity, direct perception, and the radiant peace that marks the genuine adept. Thus, in the double practice of astral journey and the awakening of the inner fire, the tablets offer both roadmap and warning. The path is dazzling, dangerous, and sublime, but for those who undertake it in integrity, it becomes the supreme means of renewal and transcendence. The world of waking merges with the world of dreams. The secret fire rises. The soul, tested and taught, returns to its duties radiant, a living bridge between earth and heaven. With the achievement of these inner milestones Consciousness expands to perceive the dance not only of self, but of worlds. Tablet 10 thunders with the vision of cycles, creation and destruction, rise and fall, birth and rebirth, the eternal clockwork of the cosmos. Here, Thoth recounts the drowning of Atlantis not only as fact, but as demonstration. Civilizations ascend, reach their zenith, and descend, only to plant seeds for new ages, new energies, and new revelations. This principle is encoded in every culture. Egyptians measured it in the flooding of the Nile, the movements of stars, the progression of dynasties. For Thoth, these cycles are the living lungs of the cosmos. All things ripple outward from the heartbeat of Source, cycling through order, chaos, and return. No era lasts forever, no revelation is lost. Everything recurs, transformed. The destruction of Atlantis enabled the wisdom of Egypt. The decline of one era provides compost for the flourishing of the next. This cosmic vision is not abstract. Its application is intensely personal. Your life moves in cycles as dramatic as any civilization. Seasons of obscurity and insight, loss and renewal, innocence and mastery. Each trial is an invitation to spiral upward, each crisis, a catalyst to remember deeper truth. Even the hardest endings, losses, failures, deaths, are shown as seeds in disguise, bursting forth in new expressions after winter's sleep. Time is not enemy, but the spiral staircase by which the soul climbs toward the real. Within these cycles, the emerald tablets expose yet another invitation, a call to the final gate, the crowning of all paths, initiation. The ultimate tablet speaks not to ritual alone, but to the crisis and gift of genuine spiritual breakthrough. True initiation descends only upon those who have lost themselves in service, who have dared to face shadows and pass the trials imposed by self and guardian alike. The journey through the Salons des Amenti is an ordeal. Illusions must fall, attachments must loosen, the boundaries of self and separation must dissolve. Only then does the full truth of the tablets become known, not as text or symbol, but as direct realization. The initiate emerges not as one crowned by authorities or traditions, but as one who knows from within. The soul is a hologram of the divine, the very universe made conscious in an individual life. Such knowledge cannot be handed down like a relic. It is earned, lived, and embodied. It comes to those who have walked the spiral, wrestled their shadows, and transcended both pride and despair. To stand at this threshold is to recognize oneself as a filio de luz, a bearer of the fire and the wisdom, ready to serve, to guide, and to anchor the energies of the new cycle for others yet to awaken. Immersed in the essence of these teachings, the journey mapped by the Emerald Tablets does not end with knowledge, but unfolds as living transformation. Each tablet becomes not a distant relic, but a mirror, reflecting the seeker's own inner architecture, their challenge, and their possibility. Through epochs and translations, civilizations rising and falling, their message endures as an insistent whisper. Awaken, remember, become a conscious participant in the world you help shape. The Odyssey traced by the tablets, beginning with the mystery of their origin in Atlantean cataclysm, through the revelation of cosmic unity, the discipline of focused thought, the cycles of ascension and descent, the mastery of planes, the art of alchemy, the balance of dualities, the passage through guarded portals, the fire within, and the recognition of cycles, serves to awaken in each soul the full scope of their inheritance. What once belonged to legend becomes the lived reality of those bold enough to step into the current of transformation. Responsibility arises with the return of memory. The knowledge that what you think, feel, and choose shapes not only your own fate, but reverberates through unseen realms and future ages. The power detailed in Tablet 4, thought as creative force, consciousness as reality's architect, demands integrity, compassion, and courage. Each decision you make begets waves through the cosmos. Each act becomes a stone dropped in eternity's water, shaping destinies beyond your sight. Yet, the most sublime secret is the revelation of the tablets. This wisdom is not locked behind vaults, nor is it reserved for those in ivory towers or sanctuaries of stone. The time has come when mysticism emerges from shadow. All of reality is now the altar, and every life a pilgrim upon it. The wisdom of Thoth survives because it is coded in compassion, shown to a stranger. The patience born in adversity, the joy felt in beauty, the awe kindled in the face of the night sky. The tablets are recited in your deeds, written anew in every act of selfless love, every moment of honest self-inquiry. As the wheel of time spins, and one era yields to another, as nations rise and fall and the old initiations give way to new forms, the message continues. Consciousness persists, ever seeking, ever becoming. The tablets gaze silently from the depth of ages, offering their emerald charge to each heart brave enough to ask, humble enough to receive, resolute enough to embody. The journey is a spiral, each completion merely a higher beginning, each revelation an invitation for deeper surrender and greater service. Look within. The echo of these teachings moves not only through story and symbol, but through the very cells of your heart, the genius of your intuition, and the longing of your soul. What once belonged to gods and sages is now entrusted to all. The inheritance of divine light, the responsibility of incarnate wisdom, the privilege of illuminating the world simply by being truly awake. The emerald tablets survive not as curiosities of a lost world, nor as idols for dusty altars, but as living fire, ready to illuminate, to heal, to transform, and always, silently, to call you onward.